is a presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are St. Louis.
In the last 30 years, no rivalry in the National League has been more prevalent than the Cardinals and Giants. During that time, these two NL powerhouses have combined to win 11 pennants and have represented the National League in 5 of the last 6 fall classics. San Francisco is in control out west, and it's an even-numbered year, which means the Giants expect nothing less than a championship. St. Louis has a tougher task ahead, residing in the same division as the Pirates and the Cubs, both playing well this year. The Giants have one of the best records in the game, led by 2 of the best right-handers in any NL rotation. The Cardinals have one of the best offenses in the game, led by the Mad Attack, Holiday, Carpenter, and Adams. Get ready for a great weekend of baseball between the Cardinals and Giants. And it starts right now on Fox Sports Midwest.
This is St. Louis Cardinals baseball, and it's a brief homestand. A weekend series begins tonight. The San Francisco Giants and the St. Louis Cardinals. With Tim McCarver and Jim Hayes, I'm Dan McLaughlin. Welcome to Cardinals baseball. Game 1 features a great matchup, pitching with Johnny Cueto and Adam Wainwright.
2 of the best right-handed pitchers, 2 of the best pitchers in baseball over the last 7-8 years. Just one sparkling year after another. Adam Wainwright has won 5 in a row. He was 0-3, you may remember. He's 5-3 now. Should be a great matchup.
Johnny Cueto, Adam Wainwright. It's the Cardinals. It's the Giants. It's our Budweiser What's on Tap. Game 1, Cardinals and Giants, coming up on Fox Sports Midwest. TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, delivers everything you've come to expect and more. Watch every out-of-market game live in HD on over 400 supported devices. Visit MLB.tv for details. A look at the Hyundai pitch arsenal for tonight's starter, Adam Wainwright. Fastball, the cutter, good old Uncle Charlie, 28.6%. The curveball, he'll mix in occasionally the changeup. That's a look at your Hyundai pitch arsenal. Tonight's giveaway, the 2006 World Championship Trophy giveaway. It's a packed house. Cards and Giants coming up. Cardinals baseball is brought to you by Budweiser. This Bud's for you. By Chevrolet. Visit your local Mid-America Chevy dealer for great prices on the all-new 2016 Malibu. And by Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. Hot dogs, brats on the grill. But let's hope the rain stays away here from downtown St. Louis. At Busch Stadium, light rain the last couple of minutes or so. Along with Tim McCarver, Jim Hayes, I'm Dan McLaughlin. Excited to see the Giants, one of the best teams right now in all of baseball.
Neither team took batting practice today. I was kind of looking forward to finishing up watching the Giants take batting practice. That's always fun the first day that you see a team, as Adam Wainwright takes the mound trying to make his record 6-3, 5-3 after losing his first 3 decisions of the year.
It's his team leading 12th start of the season tonight. Good matchup with Adam Wainwright and Johnny Cueto, the former Red and Royal, going for San Francisco. A look at Bruce Bochy's lineup here tonight. It's Span, then Panic, Duffy, Posey, Belt, Crawford, Blanco, Parker, and Cueto. A number of left-handed bats in this lineup and featured for Bruce Bochy here in Game 1. Last start, a 9-4 win for Adam Wainwright over Washington. Gave up 4 runs in a season-high 7 innings, but closer and closer and closer to the guy that we've seen for so many years.
He was about a yard away, then he was about, I don't know, 20 inches away, then 10 inches away.
Yeah.
So one of these days, the strength's going to resemble what Adam Wainwright has resembled for the Cardinals all of these years of greatness.
So Denard Span, who is 0 for his last 8, leads it off for San Francisco. The Cardinals defense with Holiday in left, Grichuk in center. Stephen Piscotty is in right. Carpenter, Diaz, Garcia, and Adams along the infield. Molina is behind the plate. Wainwright on the mound, and around the horn is presented by Dobbs. You know, you look at the Giants, Tim, it's a team that really doesn't have a lot of thumpers in their lineup, especially with Pence out and Pagan, but boy, can they pitch.
And particularly with runners in scoring position, very, very poor. One of the worst in the National League, but their starting pitchers have gone deeper than the game as a group than any other National League starters. Any other group of National League starters.
Span hitting .263, couple of home runs. He's driven in 21. Madison Bumgarner, well, if you need some thump, you might call upon him to pinch hit.
He can thump, all right. 11 home runs and 190 at bats for his career. Phenomenal.
He also can pitch a little bit too.
Yes, he can. How about that right front foot of Denard Span? Almost looks like he is facing a pitcher behind him. Watch that right foot. The nuances of beginning a batting stance.
2-2 the count. Span is the hardest to strike out currently in the National League. He struck out 22 times this year. He's a good player. The 2-2. Breaking ball fouled back. One of my favorites calling the balls and strikes, crew chief Jim Joyce. Marvin Hudson down at first, James Hoy at second, Chad Fairchild down at third.
No trouble hearing Jim Joyce?
At all.
A bit emphatic, you would say, partner?
As a play-by-play guy, he's perfect. You know where you sit with him. Late break by Piscotty and a diving catch to take a hit away from Denard Span.
That's the one thing to keep in mind, and I was just looking at the outfield. Denard Span with 2 home runs this year. He does not have good power and hits more balls like this at Piscotty, on which Stephen made such a great play. So for the outfielders, keep him pinched, play him in another 3 or 4 yards and make him hit the ball over your head, because more often than not he's not going to do that.
Brings in Joe Panik with 1 out and nobody on. Very fine play by Piscotty. You can also hear Jim Joyce describe where the pitch is. You can hear ball outside, so you know where you sit with Jim Joyce. Yesterday was the 6-year anniversary of a date that I'm sure he'd like to forget, but the Galarraga near perfect game for Detroit and the blown call at first base by Jim Joyce. No replay at that time cost him a perfect game. And he came out the next day. Galarraga handed him the lineup card, and you may remember Jim Joyce in tears as he received it.
That was a terrific moment in baseball history.
The 2-1 pitch.
Somehow wouldn't have been the same had they called for a replay in those days. You know, it wouldn't have worked, I don't think. A perfect game because of a replay.
Galarraga might think otherwise.
True.
I just wonder, where is the game going? Where are we going to be 50 years from now in terms of technology? And will umpires still be calling balls and strikes? Will it be computerized? Replay with better tools, with cameras at the bags, those kind of things.
Will there be robots for umpires?
Taken there by Carpenter for out number 2. San Francisco comes in. They're winning a lot of games, but as we mentioned, not hitting. And here's another example of that. Matt Duffy, third place hitter, is 1 for his last 15. There's a couple of hitters that do not have very good numbers against Adam Wainwright, namely Brandon Crawford, 4 for 25, 8 strikeouts. That includes the postseason. So we'll see if they can't get it going against Adam, or if it's the same old Adam Wainwright. 2 outs and nobody on.
Talking about robots for umpires, Elon Musk, the CEO of Tesla Automobiles, was talking today on CNBC about life on Mars in 2025. In 9 years. You kidding me?
I'm not buying it.
No, I'm not buying it either. But
not
I mean,
buying it.
Pretty smart guy who's making that call.
That pitch inside.
Good pitch, though. Good pitch by Molina and Wainwright.
These two teams have been 2 of the best in the National League for about a decade or so. On a hop to second baseman Greg Garcia. And a 1-2-3 inning for Adam Wainwright. Cardinals coming up in the home half of the first. Johnny Cueto, first season with San Francisco. He'll face Carpenter, Diaz, and Holiday. Then Piscotty, Adams, Grichuk, Molina, Garcia, and Adam Wainwright, who has 5 extra base hits already this year.
I don't think Johnny Cueto's got to worry about that step. He's 5'11". Adam Wainwright is 6'7".
Lined into center field and a base hit for Matt Carpenter.
How many times have Cardinal fans seen that? A base hit by Carpenter. Looking for a fastball away, goes right with it, hit it hard. That's the one thing Johnny Cueto will do, Dan, pardon me, but he will turn his back to the hitter, much like Louis Tiant used to do for the Boston Red Sox for so many years after doing it for Cleveland in the 60s.
He'll also quick pitch, which is something he did the last couple of years with the Cincinnati Reds. What's unique about the base hit by Carpenter, think about it. How many times do you see Matt Carpenter swing at the first pitch?
Good point.
Rarely.
No, right. That pitch is usually taken.
Matt came in hitting .442 in 23 games against the Giants. Here's a 1-0. Diaz with a high fly ball lifted to right. Jared Parker backing up, makes the catch for the first out.
We were talking before the game about Johnny Cueto. If you deceive the runner at first base, it's a balk. If you deceive the hitter, it's allowed. It's one of the nuances of the game, huh? I mean, actually, that's what pitching is. The art and act of deceiving the hitter. With Cueto more than other pitchers, might add.
Disrupting timing and rhythm, all those things.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Carpenter, 656 career hits. 600 of those hits have been when he's in a count that's not 0-0. So it is rare that he goes after that first pitch.
About 1/13 of the time.
That would be about right. Holiday batting .262. This past week, Tim, he picked up hit number 1,000 in his Cardinals career. And since he was acquired, which was July 24th of 09, 7th in the National League in hits, 3rd in extra base hits, 10th in on base percentage. I would say that that's paid off.
Yeah, and that didn't pay off. I mean, you have a check swing on a 3-0 count. That's a no-no. That's a no-no every time you do it. Now, if it were 0-2 and 1-2, it'd be different. But a slider thrown by Cueto and Posey on 3-0.
Here's a 3-1. And Holiday pops it up. On the outfield grass, Joe Panic calling for it. He's got it for out number 2. Dobbs Tire and Auto Center's defense for San Francisco. Blanco in left, Span in center, Parker is in right. Duffy, Crawford, Panic, and Belt along the infield, and Buster Posey, one of the game's best, is behind the plate.
Matt Holliday popped out on a 3-1 slider, but what made that a bad at bat was a check swing on a 3-0 count. If he takes that pitch, it's first and second and 1 out.
So 2 outs, very short lead by Carpenter at first. Piscotty batting .318, which is 8th best in the National League.
I will say that 3-0 pitch to Matt Holliday, that's after a sizzling, I mean a sizzling road trip, 11 for 24 with a couple of home runs, seeing the ball.
0-2. Hyundai pitch arsenal on Johnny Cueto. Fastball, slider, cutter, curve, and change. His last start was Sunday against Colorado. Earned the win 8-3 through 6 innings. Allowed 2 runs on 6 hits. Battled through some soreness in his right side and in his back. We'll see if that becomes an issue at all here tonight. And he strikes out Piscotty. His first of the night. Carpenter left stranded, and there's no score after 1 inning.
Pitching philosophy, get ahead in the count and expand the strike zone. Cueto expanding it up as Posey gives the signal. High fastball, Piscotty down for the third out in the bottom of the first.
Here's Buster Posey. Posey against Adam Wainwright, 3 for 20, no extra base hits in his career. This guy is some kind of player, isn't he, Tim?
Yes, he is. Rookie of the Year in 2010, World Series champion 3 years, 2010, 12, and 14. Batting champ in 2012.
To be a batting champion at this position, as you know, so hard to do. I've really found it interesting, and you know, you think about it and it should be obvious, but how the hands of a catcher really do get beat up.
Better the pitching staff, and the Giants have a bunch of flamethrowers. The tougher it is on your hands, particularly your left hand. That's the bottom hand for a right-handed hitter, of course. Tendency to go to right field with 2 strikes.
Tried to go to right and hits it to Adams, who puts it away. 4 up and 4 down. Let's turn to Tim's Toyota key to the game.
Great pitching matchup. What else can you say? 2 really thoroughly professional guys going at each other tonight.
Brings in first baseman Brandon Belt. Leads their club in walks with 38. That's 3rd most right now in the National League. On base percentage of .425. Ben Zobrist came into play today at .439. What a year he has had. First year of a 4-year deal for Chicago. And they won again today over Arizona. Good breaking ball, 1-1.
I think everybody was afraid to give Ben Zobrist more than 2 years since he's 36 years old. But Joe Madden knew how well he took care of himself. Real impetus in the Cubs giving Ben Zobrist that 4-year deal.
Don't you think, too, that with the amount of young players that they have on that team, the core of that team is 25, 24. There's one player 27. I mean, having that kind of guy around
absolutely
means an awful lot.
Absolutely.
2-2. 65% of the pitches thrown by Adam Wainwright to left-handed hitters are off-speed pitches. 3rd highest in all of baseball. So we'll see a lot of that, we would assume, here tonight with all these lefties. On a hop to second baseman Greg Garcia. The BJC Healthcare difference maker, Adam Wainwright. What he's done in his last 7 starts as opposed to the first 4. And you could go through all the numbers, Tim, but what are you seeing? What do you see that's made a big difference with him so far?
5 extra base hits.
Hey, he's helped his own cause.
He leads National League pitchers with the bat. And that triple and home run were huge hits. I'm only kidding about that, Adam, but you can see that he is getting closer. And that's really all there is right now. I mean, getting closer to the old Adam Wainwright, the one that Cardinal fans are used to seeing after that horrible Achilles problem last year. Hurt it in Milwaukee.
Well, you're half kidding about the extra base hits and what he's done at the plate.
Seems like all of them have been big hits.
Exactly.
Though.
And I think of the home run that he hit against the Phillies, which was a 3-run homer. The place was kind of dead. There wasn't a lot going on, and it just sent a jolt through this stadium. The Cardinals went on to win that game, and since that time, he has been a better pitcher. Cardinals will shift here for Brandon Crawford, who had 23 RBIs in the month of May. That hit him. just caught Brandon Crawford. You could hear that. Missouri Lottery Fox Tracks shows us Crawford hit by the pitch, and it brings in Gregor Blanco. Blanco hitting .273, no home runs. He's driven in 10. Crawford, if you're wondering, with 3 stolen bases this year, teams are having a little bit more success against Molina this season. But primarily those stolen bases have been off the pitching staff of the Cardinals. He is 5 for 19 in catching base stealers.
Tougher to throw for a catcher, even a catcher with the tools of Molina, with the left-handed batter up there. And as you mentioned, a left-handed hitting lineup tonight. So generally speaking, it'll be easier for the Giants to get a good jump because of all the left-handed hitters in their lineup.
All those off-speed pitches.
Most curveballs are in the dirt. You talked about that. They're slower to the plate.
Here's a 2-1 pitch. The check swing, he went.
Not a good running count in my view. The reason is it's 2-2 on the hitter, 2 outs. And if the next pitch is a ball, you're compelled to run anyway. So why run and take a chance on 2-2 when there are no chances taken with the count 3-2? So everything changes with the count. You have to know that as players, as base runners, pitchers, catchers, in middle infielders.
Not running on the outside corner. The first strikeout of the night for Adam Wainwright. Hits his spot as Molina set up on the outside portion of the plate. Bam, right there. The first strikeout for Adam Wainwright. More on Waino. Let's check in with Jim.
Dan, John Smoltz, who will be part of the broadcast tomorrow on Big Fox, is bullish on the Cardinals. And his friend Adam Wainwright is a big part of the reason why. Smoltz told me, quote, the Cardinals will be in the postseason and Wainwright and the starting rotation will get them there. Smoltz was one of the guys that reached out to Waino during his early season struggles just to reassure him. He said, quote, Adam Wainwright is a question of time, saying the adjustments you have to make after something like a torn Achilles don't happen overnight. He says Adam may have been guilty of trying to make all the adjustments all at once. And he says some people were too quick to write Wainwright off, saying he's got a chip on his shoulder and he loves to feed off the doubters. And Dan, Smoltz high on the Cardinals.
Bold statement from John Smoltz, the Hall of Famer. Working with Bob Costas, the MLB Game of the Week. There's Bob on the right, John Smoltz on the left. The 0-2 pitch. Adams just takes it the other way.
See what happens when you don't stride? He didn't stride. He picked the right foot up and set it right back down in the same spot. He picked it up, but he didn't stride. That's how Willie Mays used to take batting practice, flat-footed.
What would be the idea of doing when you're doing that? Just
right
to be
there.
able to get the ball a little bit deeper?
Shoulder positioning.
Yeah.
Left shoulder.
It's a good piece of hitting.
Dick Allen, one of the best guys to take batting practice of my experience.
Grichuk chops it to short. Crawford, panic, Belt, double play.
Boy, was that nicely turned at second base by Joe Panic, who didn't panic. Easy 6-4-3 on a guy who can run.
Ball starts there though with Crawford so quickly out of the glove and smooth.
Perfect throw.
Yeah.
Right around the letters.
Yeah, Jim had that conversation with John Smoltz. I talked to him about a year ago and his experience here in St. Louis. And he was here for about 2 months or so in 2009, wrapped up his career. Said it was the best 2 months he ever had in Major League Baseball playing for the Cardinals. Think about that.
Man.
One ball, one strike on Yadier Molina, who is 0 for his last 11. Baseball's such a funny game, Tim, where you look at Molina and you say, yeah, he's really struggling here the last 2 weeks or so. Well, the beginning of those 2 weeks, he was hitting rockets everywhere, but right at defenders. And then all of a sudden it snowballs to where he's not putting together the at-bats that we saw in the beginning of the season.
They're not finding holes.
Right. The 3-1 pitch by Cueto. 3-2. Johnny Cueto said at the end of last season he was tipping pitches in the month of September. He was not very good for Kansas City, but he did have a huge postseason start to extend their season. Then they obviously eventually went on to win the World Series after the big trade with Cincinnati.
Yeah, he had a poor season overall with Kansas City. I think everybody thought it was going to be easy for Johnny, but proved not to be. That World Series game we talked about, superb. The Giants signed him to a 4-year deal, but he can opt out after 2 years, which is interesting and almost always in favor of the player, not the organization with whom he signed. Extra incentive, I would say.
It seems to be becoming more commonplace,
yes.
the opt-outs. A 2-out walk to Molina. That's something that Cueto doesn't do very often. Third in the National League, and walks issued just over 1 per 9.
Yeah, 15 in 83 innings.
Superhero Night at Busch Stadium coming up Tuesday, June 14th. The Cardinals host the Astros, and you can get a t-shirt with your theme ticket. Cardinals.com/theme. Here's Greg Garcia, who is 13 for 24 to start his season here at the big league level. He's got me on the edge of my seat, ready for something big to happen.
All he does is hit.
Cardinals are hoping to activate Johnny Peralta for the series in Cincinnati beginning next Tuesday. And Tim, the idea would be that Peralta would play third primarily. Diaz stays put at short, and then Carpenter could shift to second base. So a lot of options coming up when you mix in Garcia and Colton Wong and now Peralta. Play those hot hands and see what comes up.
Right.
Bounces it to Brandon Belt, steps on the bag, and the Cardinals strand their second runner of the night. We played 2 from Busch Stadium, and there's no score. St. Louis Cardinals baseball is brought to you by Ford, the official cars and trucks of the St. Louis Cardinals, and by Steel Outdoor Power Equipment. Quality, reliability, and value. Find a servicing Steel dealer at steeldealers.com or search STIHL. Jared Parker, who's in right field tonight, hitting .226 with 1 home run. He's driven in 3. Johnny Cueto on deck, and then Denard Span.
This guy with great power. 6 home runs and 50 at bats last year. Coming up as a September call up. Giants, like the Cardinals, top to bottom, solid.
Yep. Usually draft well, develop players well, depth. When they do go out on the free agency market and spend big dollars, usually the right decisions are made. How do you argue right now with what they've done with Samardzija and Cueto, 2 of the best free agency pitchers picked up?
Sure.
2-2. You have Madison Bumgarner there. There's Jeff Samardzija.
Samardzija will be the starter for the Giants tomorrow night.
Bumgarner, his 13th career home run yesterday. And since 1974, that's third most behind Mike Hampton and Carlos Zambrano. Bob Gibson had 24 career home runs. Bumgarner 13. 3-2 pitch. Second strikeout for Adam Wainwright.
Talked about all the off-speed pitches Adam features against left-handers. When you throw that many off-speed pitches, you get a fastball that a lot of people say, well, it's only 91, but it appears to be a lot faster. That ball foul tipped in the glove of YADIER Molina.
You hear the boos here for Johnny Cueto, who is 2 for 25 this season.
That's not why they're booing him, though.
And you may remember the big brawl in Cincinnati, and Cueto was right in the middle of it. A brawl that started with Yadier Molina and their second baseman Brandon Phillips, and then Cueto kicked Jason LaRue. LaRue was dealing with some concussion-like symptoms at the time, and that didn't help. There's a strikeout. 3 in a row, 3 tonight. MLB returns to FS1 with the Rays and Twins at 2:30. Then Baseball Night in America, Giants and Cardinals at 6 on Fox, or you can watch it live on Fox Sports Go. Denard Span was robbed by Steven Piscotty to start this game with a diving catch into shallow right. Little squibber to short. Diaz, hesitation, still got him. Nice pick by Adams. We'll see if Bruce Bochy wants to have a replay.
That was a great play by Adams. There's a big difference in a short hop and an in-between hop. In-betweeners are tougher. Good play, Matt Adams.
Don't miss your chance to add another unique Cardinals jersey to your collection. 30,000 fans ages 16 and older take home a Colton Wong Hawaiian print jersey. Tickets at cardinals.com/promotions. And Wong actually had input on that jersey. A lot of the symbols inside the number are symbolic of Hawaii and where he's from. So he had a little input in how they did it. It's going to be a tough time for him. He signs the extension coming into his own, thinking about that coming into the season.
Just got married during the offseason.
Still trying to put things together here in 2016. Wainwright hitting .263.
There's that quick pitch. Instead of winding up, almost a slide step from the wind-up position. Myriad ways of delivering the ball.
One ball, two strikes. The DH was adopted in 1973. 1974, the last year the National League scored more runs per game than the American League. But then you look at it this year, the difference is about 1% in runs per game.
Well, that's a lot too.
So even though that some fans want to see, no, not it's closer than you think. I just prefer this style of baseball. I always have, always will.
Yeah. It's ingrained in. It's more ingrained in National League fans and ex-National League players, I think, than it is ingrained in American League fans to keep it.
Agreed. It's a good way to put it. One and two the count. And I know some fans will say, well, wait a minute, you know, Wainwright was hitting last year and that's where he tore his Achilles, and how can you say that, because it puts a pitcher at risk at the plate. Wainwright will tell you it was ready to be torn whether he was pitching, running, hitting.
That's what the doctor said. Yes.
Hit to short. Brandon Crawford fires a strike to Brandon Belt.
You don't keep a rule or not have a rule because of an exception like that. I mean, a torn Achilles. Wainwright knew the stakes. There's no way you change a rule because a pitcher tore his Achilles. As you said, you know, could have gone right back out there the next half inning and done the same thing. And it could have been worse. Who knows?
Right. Now, to me, the amazing part of the injury was the fact that he even came back and pitched last year.
Yeah, that is remarkable. Did not get in the rotation, but did pitch out of the bullpen.
Oh, 1 pitch. Carpenter single to center field on the first pitch. Back in the bottom of the first. Cardinals with 2 hits tonight. Carpenter single and Adams a leadoff single back in inning number 2. Belt to his right leads Cueto, and Carpenter is safe at first.
You know, trying to find the bag and the ball at the same time. Brandon Belt, because he's a left-handed fielding first baseman, had to awkwardly throw that ball. He threw it high. Play should have been made by Cueto. It's probably an error on the pitcher. That's how I would score it. But it's an awkward throw. One of the few throws that's awkward by a left-handed throwing first baseman. It's really a first baseman. It's a position made for a left-handed thrower, but not on a play like that.
They gave the air to Belt, and that is his 6th of the year. I'm with you, though. Throw is a little high, but still should have been handled.
Oh, yeah.
Here's Aledmys Diaz. Came in hitting .344 against right-handed pitching, 3rd best in the league. Overall at .328, 4th best. Daniel Murphy at .394. To lead the National League.
It'll be interesting, Dan. Here the Giants have heard so much about Aledmys Diaz. First time, good power to right field.
And a fly ball into right center field. Back to the bag at first goes Carpenter. I was a little surprised that Span and Parker were playing as close in as they were in center and right.
Yeah, on both at bats.
Your chance to dress in style while supporting your favorite team is Sunday, June 19th. 30,000 fans go home with a pair of baby blue Cardinals dress socks featuring the bird on the bat logo. So get your Father's Day tickets today at cardinals.com/promotions. These are two of the most successful teams in baseball over the last decade, and last year, first time that neither the Giants or Cardinals won the pennant. To go back to 2009, the Cardinals getting into postseason play. Then in 10, the Giants win their first World Series in San Francisco. Cardinals win in 11. In 2012, the Cardinals were up 3-1 on the Giants in the NLCS. Barry Zito pitched them out of trouble.
Giants won it in the rain.
Yep.
The final squeezing of the ball by Marco Scutaro at second base.
'13, the Cardinals won the pennant. 14, Giants win the World Series. So we'll see what happens here in 2016. Well, here we go again. 3-0 the count on Holiday.
Last time up, a check swing on a slider. If you're Matt Holliday, you determine what your home run pitch is. Is it a ball out over the plate? Is it a ball inside? That's where you look. And if it's there, swing.
Did not go. Draws the second walk issued by Cueto. So 2 outs and 2 on. Busy in October, you bet. These franchises, most playoff games played in the National League since '06.
Cardinals' first playoff was 1926 World Series. Cardinals in their 125th year. The Giants equally long, but of course about the first half of their existence, they were in New York as the New York Giants moved to San Francisco in 1958.
Strike on Piscotty, who struck out back in the first. O'Malley family decided to move the Dodgers out west. They needed a partner, and lo and behold, here come the Giants.
Horace Stoneham, the owner, moving from New York to California.
Piscotty, line drive into right, drops for a base hit. Here comes Carpenter. Here's the throw, cut off by Belt, and it's 1-0 St. Louis here in the bottom of the third.
Inexperience in Jared Parker. It was a double clutch, but he had no chance of getting Carpenter anyway. Jared Parker, the right fielder, watch a double clutch. Catches it, really doesn't know where to go with the ball. He's thinking third base, but Holliday clearly had stopped at second. And Carpenter with a good jump and scores easily. And the Cardinals take the lead.
And now it's Adams who singled his first time up. Ball one. Seen a lot of changeups early on here from Johnny Cueto.
Only sliders to Matt Holliday that I remember.
One ball, one strike.
One of the few times this year Johnny Cueto's been behind in the game.
Right. Giants are 10-1 in his 11 starts.
Yeah, and 3 complete games too.
Goes deep into games, and they are winning. Earned his 6th consecutive winning decision against Colorado on Sunday, so that improved his record to 8-1. But for whatever reason, he has struggled against the Cardinals. 5-8, 20 career starts. His last 10 against the Cardinals, 1-5. And his ERA here at Busch Stadium is close to 6. The 2-1 pitch to Adams. How about Stephen Piscotty? He's now 25 for 49, which is a .510 average with runners in scoring position.
That's just, well, it's like the Cardinals several years ago. That's what they weren't that good as a team, but they were over 300, 330, I believe, at the end of the season.
I think you have to start thinking about Stephen Piscotty as an all-star.
Oh, no question about that.
Top 10 in hitting. What he's done with runners in scoring position. Solid defender in right. That was his 32nd driven in this year. Big gap in right center. The 3-2 runners go, and it's taken high. Bases loaded.
We've talked many times about how mental baseball is right now. Johnny Cueto, a guy Bruce Bochy has relied on, and the Giants have relied on all season long. You saw Dave Righetti in your picture. He's the pitching coach of the Giants. Well, the same is true with Randal Grichuk. He's had a problem, tried everything to get out of it. One swing of the bat right here could be the turning point for Randal Grichuk. That's how delicate players are when the mental part of the game comes into play. One swing against Cueto.
Bases loaded. 2 outs. Strike 1 on Grichuk, who bounced into a 6-4-3 double play back in the 2nd inning. Oh, 1 pitch. The Cardinals, by the way, this season hitting .302 with runners in scoring position. Best in all of baseball. Two and 1. You think about it too, this has not been a typical Giants type inning. An error, couple of walks. Those things add up at this level.
Yes, sir. Two and 2. It's almost like in mass. The Cardinal fans here are living and dying with this at bat by Randal Grichuk, knowing the struggles he's had.
The 2-2. That was the first time we saw him do that little shake too. He, as you mentioned, Louis Tiant will turn around, the number 2 on the back of the jersey facing the batter, and then he'll shake a little bit sometimes.
Then a quick pitch. That little shake, by the way, is what my partner has on the dance floor.
taught to me by you.
Correct.
The 2-2. Oh yeah, so many nights on the road, you and I make sure to go out dancing.
If Richie gets on here, the Cardinals will be dancing, high stepping.
Three-two pitch. Grichuk puts it in play. Cueto off the mound, steps, throws, and got him. Grichuk strands the bases loaded. The Cardinals pick up a 2-out RBI single from Stephen Piscotty. That scores Matt Carpenter, and we have played 3. 1-0 Cardinals. From Busch Stadium here in St. Louis. The Giants and the Cardinals weekend series, game number 1. Joe Panik leads it off, and a good breaking ball from Adam Wainwright. Panik grounded out to third, first time up. Fights it off, and the first base hit for the Giants tonight. In steps Matt Duffy. Our game summary: Cueto, 3 innings so far. Span over 2, their leadoff man. Wainwright pitching here in the 4th inning, and Piscotty the RBI single with 2 outs moments ago. Giants start play at 34-22 and a 5.5 game lead over the Dodgers.
Giants won 21 games in May, 21-8. They're 17-4 in their last 21 games. Surefire Hall of Famer Bruce Bochy. Don't say that without resignation anymore.
Off the glove of Wainwright to Carpenter, and they'll get 1 out. Might have been 2 if it gets through Adam Wainwright.
Probably, but Adam would have been in such disarray by the time he fielded the ball. Those are tough plays because you have to take time to right yourself. And maybe they get the lead runner, but anyway, as it is, deflected right to Matt Carpenter at third base, and Matt alertly throws out Mike Duffy.
Brings in Buster Posey. And Tim, when you look at the 21 games in that stretch, which they won 17, the starters' ERA 1.71 for the Giants.
Wow.
So even though, as we've said, they're not hitting all that much, they can flat out pitch.
Pitching, good pitching, the vertebra of winning ball clubs.
I think it's what's really separated teams like the Giants and teams like the Cubs from the Cardinals. You know, the starting pitching has been up and down. Now this last time through for the Cardinals much better, and also the defense has let the Cardinals down at times too. It's since 1958, this great month of May the Giants had, one of the best in franchise history.
And the Giants were playing in Seals Stadium those first 2 years, 58 and 59.
And into the warmth of Candlestick. Woo, some cold nights, man.
Oh my gosh. What a dreadful place. The House of Horrors in San Francisco.
And now one of the best ballparks in the major leagues.
That's true. AT&T Park in San Francisco.
Been a couple of pitches in this sequence that Wainwright is frustrated with the strike zone. He thought he had 2 pitches that should have been called strikes. Falls behind 3-1.
Good breaking ball on a 3-1 count. That's respect for Posey, and rightful respect. Good pitch. Little bender. May have been a cutter, maybe. Had a little wrinkle in it somewhere.
3-2 pitch. Wainwright to Posey. Driven out to center. Grichuk won't get there. On a hop. Comes up firing. The throw is cut off by Adams.
Ooh, Roberto Kelly very, very cautious at third base. I think you got to send Joe Panik.
Now Grichuk does have a very good arm, but we're not seeing it this year.
Yeah, but he's playing deeply too for Buster Posey. You can see that look out to center field. There's no need for Panik to look out there because that's the third base coach's job. So why it takes time when you look, the hesitation you can understand, but because of that look was maybe the reason that Roberto Kelly held him at third.
Grichuk had arm issues last year. Cardinals have told him to be very cautious with that, to stay in the lineup every day. So here's Belt.
Now the double play still in order, and the Giants have yet to score.
Belt grounded out to second. He's 0 for 1. But I am with you, partner. You've got to send him on that base hit.
If he's done the right thing between second and third. And as that replay showed, I didn't see that initially. There's no reason for you to look. That's why you have a third base coach there. He's your eyes.
0-2. Inning started with a base hit to center by Panik. Duffy off the glove of Wainwright. Grounded out. Posey the base hit to center. And now 0-2 the count on Brandon Belt.
High fastball. Good pitch after 2 slow curveballs. Tight fastball again.
1-2 pitch. Base hit into right. Past Adams. And Posey on his way to third. So Belt has tied this game up at 1.
Give Brandon Belt credit. That was a good pitch by Wainwright, in on the hands. A strike. And Belt looking inside has been red hot, and good base running by Buster Posey. With 1 out, the chance to go to third base. Good base running by a slow runner.
So first and third, tie ball game. And here's Crawford. He was hit back in the second inning. Adams is holding the runner at first base. Carpenter, the third baseman, is off the line and cheating in on the grass. Strike 1. .348 is average with runners in scoring position. The night that the Cardinals hand out the 2006 replica championship trophy. Amazing to see Wainwright and Molina still competing at a high level. Those two were there for the final out, the strikeout of Brandon Inge of the Detroit Tigers in '06 to wrap up the championship. Curveball again, he hung it. Base hit it to right. And the Giants have the lead. It's now 2-1. Take a look at our Chevy Fox Tracks. It's 4 hits in the inning.
That's a curveball that stayed up, as you said, Dan, right around the belt. Hammered to right field as the Giants take the lead for the first time in this game. That was a hanger, and that's understandable why a major league hitter hit it hard. But the ball that Belt hit, that was a good pitch. Wainwright and Molina, you asked them, no quibbling about that pitch. Sometimes you got to tip your hat to the hitter.
Now Gregor Blanco. Strike 1. Hard to believe, 10 years since that championship run of the Cardinals, regular season of 83 wins. Molina just starting to come into his own, had a terrific postseason against the Mets in the NLCS. Jason Isringhausen was injured, the bad hip shut down, and Adam Wainwright became the team's closer. One ball, one strike on Blanco.
The absence of Hunter Pence and Angel Pagan, the Giants only have 4 outfielders. Blanco, one of them.
If you go back to the start of 2015, this is why Hunter Pence is so important. The Giants are 26 games above 500 when he's in the lineup, 8 below 500 when he's not.
I saw Hunter before the game, and he's hobbling around in the Giants clubhouse. And it's a helpless feeling when those hamstrings are pulled right behind the lower part of the knee.
3-2.
I say lower part, above the knee, of course, where the hamstring is. But he is a gamer, I'll tell you that.
So unorthodox, the way that he runs and throws and hits, but puts up numbers.
Not by the fact that he's a winner.
3-2 pitch. Curveball lifted in the air out to right. Piscotty makes the catch, and the runners stay put at first and second. So Pagan is out dealing with leg issues, and this is Hunter Pence and his injury against the Atlanta Braves.
You can almost feel it, can't you, Dave?
Yeah. Oh, it's tough to watch. Here's what we're talking about with and without Hunter Pence in that lineup. Very good with Houston, then it was off to the Phillies. And then part of the last 2 championships for the San Francisco Giants. Two outs, 2 on, and here's the 8th place hitter, Jared Parker. Struck out swinging back in the 3rd. Wainwright has struck out 3, has not walked anybody. And the Giants now have a 2-1 lead.
Third straight left-handed hitter on which Adam has an 0-2 count. Actually 2 of the last 3, not Blanco. A lot of deep counts by Wainwright tonight.
The 0-2 pitch. Single by Panic, Posey, Belt, Crawford. And 2 runs have scored. And the 1-2 pitch. Struck him out on the inside corner. That's 4 tonight for Adam Wainwright. Giants with the lead. Home half of the 4th. Let's check in with Jim.
Dan, we had John Mozeliak on the pregame show talking about the return of Johnny Peralta on Tuesday, as you mentioned. He explained their thinking. They're very pleased with the development of Aledmys Diaz at short, so Peralta will see a lot of time at third base with Matt Carpenter getting work at second. Mo says that will likely mean fewer opportunities for Kolten Wong, who Mo says is still, quote, a large part of our future, but says in the short term it comes down to performance and to production. A couple other things. Seth Maness told me he is now throwing pain-free after he was shut down with that elbow inflammation. Maness set to throw bullpens on Saturday and Monday. Could go out on a rehab after that. Also, Brian Pena set to start a rehab assignment with Springfield on Tuesday. That makes the always happy Pena even happier.
All right, Jimmy, good stuff. I guess what stands out about that, and we talked about it a little bit, but Kolten Wong and trying to get him going, Tim. You want to play him, but it's a results-driven business, and it's tough to stay sharp if you don't play.
If you're Kolten Wong, you win the job back. It's that simple. If you hit, you play. It's a big boys league, and Kolten knows that.
Here's Garcia with one out. Grounded out to first time up. Little hesitation, and then the pitch taken high by Garcia. Cueto started doing the variations of the Luis Tiant approach to the plate at the beginning of last year. That one not as pronounced as we've seen. I'm assuming, because you know everybody in the game of baseball, you probably know Mr. Tiant pretty well.
I know Louis very well. We were teammates in '74 and '75 with the Red Sox. Funny man. Could he ever pitch? Afraid of no one. Drill you in a second, knock you back off the plate. All part of the game in those days.
Now he is a cigar maker.
Yes, right. Had a movie made about his life 5 years ago.
3-1 pitch, and Garcia be at first base with one out. Well, in the Bay Area, fans have to be loving the sports scene. Giants off to a great start. You got the San Jose Sharks in the Stanley Cup final, and Golden State best regular season, and now a chance to cap it off with another championship.
Stefan with 11 points last night, and yet they won by 15 after those coming from 3 games to 1 losers to Oklahoma City.
Wainwright gets the bunt down. The sacrifice is his 4th this year, puts Garcia in scoring position. May have saw that shot we had. That was Kirk Reeder from Centralia, Illinois, nicknamed Woody.
Good
There's
pickup.
Kirk.
Nice going, partner. I would not know that, but I guess he still lives in Centralia, right?
He does.
In that area, in and around Centralia.
And he always comes to the ballpark when the Giants are in town.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's good going.
Had a nice career, 130 wins in the big leagues. Here's Carpenter, who has been on base twice, reached on an error, scored the only run for the Cardinals in the 3rd, and a single to center. Cardinals trailing 2-1. Garcia, your runner at second base. There's ball 1.
I wouldn't pitch to Carpenter here. Bruce Bochy does not like to walk, nor does any major league manager like to walk a guy intentionally, but I think the disparity between Carpenter and Diaz is pretty great with a man and runner, a runner in scoring position.
Diaz has come back down to earth a little bit. Arquilla in the driver's seat. Matt Carpenter. And that's another reason why, too, that terrific average in 23 games against the San Francisco Giants.
Yeah, he's not fooling with him so far. Now that could change. 3 balls, not even close, really. Up and away to Carpenter.
Three and one. The shift on here for Carpenter. Will he see a pitch to hit? Draws the walk, and now Diaz a chance to do some damage.
I think Cueto tried to get that 3-0 pitch high, but it stayed down low enough to be a strike.
And then as a hitter, I'm sure you're sitting there saying, well, is he pitching around me or is he coming after me?
That's true. I think that was the pitch around all the way, and yet Dave Righetti out to talk to Cueto. Nothing's wrong with him.
What a pitcher he was in his own right, Dave Righetti. Longest tenured pitching coach in baseball.
Threw a no-hitter for the New York Yankees on July 4th, 1983. Then Rags, that's his nickname, Rags, was a smart guy, boy. And he's been smart for a long time. Finished his career in the bullpen with the Yankees. Great major league career, and he's extended that, as you said, as a pitching coach for Bruce Bochy.
So 2 outs and 2 on. Diaz is fly to right. He's also fly to center. That's the pitch right there that teams have been throwing time and again to Aledmys Diaz.
While low and away and making him bite.
One and one.
Cueto got a break there.
Ground ball that's hit to second. Taken by Panic, and the Cardinals strand 2. 2-1 San Francisco as we head to the 5th. All right, Scotty, thank you. First pitch was a strike. Hit on a hop now by Johnny Cueto to Greg Garcia, and the great hustle down the line to make that a close play.
Now, walking off after last half inning, we've talked about how pitchers consistently talk about their front shoulders. See how Cueto, they're always doing that. If you're a right-handed pitcher, keep the front shoulder closed, the same as a hitter. That's why pitching and hitting are really the same things. Your front shoulder has got to be in there. Good fastball will clear it for a pitcher, and a good swing will clear it for a hitter.
Here's Span, who is 0 for 2, top of the lineup. Wainwright had 75 pitches. You know, Johnny Cueto is averaging 106 pitches per start. That is second most in baseball. I mean, it just goes to show you, guys just don't throw a lot of pitches anymore. 106, second most.
106.2, 106.6, a teammate, Madison Bumgarner.
That's right. Two and one the count with 1 out, nobody on. Wainwright lets that go. It's taken by Diaz for the out.
In 1963, I'll let you read this and talk about the great Dominican dandy, the all-time leader in wins, Juan Marichal.
Make sure you celebrate June 18th with your furry friend. Take home a Cardinals pet leash holder with photo frame. Compliments of Nestle Purina. That's coming up June 18th.
Talk about 106 pitches tied Cueto and Bumgarner. In 1963, Warren Spahn went against Juan Marichal. They both pitched 16 innings. That's right. 16 innings. Juan Marichal told me at the Hall of Fame 2 years ago that he threw 234 pitches.
234.
234.
Amazing. Line drive caught by Diaz. Hey, that'll help your pitch count. Both guys tonight combined probably won't get to 234.
No, they won't. No, you're right.
Nice play, Aledmys Diaz. 2-1 San Francisco. Giants taking in some baseball here tonight. And Holiday leads it off for the Cardinals in a 2-1 San Francisco lead in inning number 5.
I was thinking, Dan, it's a game that we expected to see the score 2-1 in the bottom of the 5th.
Yeah.
With these two going at each other. If you're a hitter, you've got to be disconcerted. Maybe not a lot, but certainly some by the different deliveries of Cueto.
Disrupting that rhythm. There's the quick pitch. There's a check swing. There's a strike on Holiday. And you've got to gear up for all the different looks that he gives you.
Sure.
Overall, Cueto is 2nd in innings, 9th in strikeouts, 3rd in wins. He's looking to join Steven Strasburg and Jake Arrieta as a 9-game winner. I get a kick out of watching it.
He's still talking about that front shoulder and extending with the breaking ball. That was a backup slider to make the count 3-2 to Matt Holliday.
Holiday puts it in the air down the right field line. Long way to go for Parker and a foul ball. Cueto consistently is 92 to 94. He's thrown his changeup a lot with that quick pitch that he uses. Three and 2 the count. Holiday is walked in, also popped out. Time called. Three-2, breaks his bat, ground ball to third. Duffy, one away.
The different deliveries of Johnny Cueto from our center field camera. 3 different at bats. And a quick pitch on the right. Very effective, I'll tell you.
Piscotty fouls the first pitch back. A 2-out RBI single by Piscotty to score. Matt Carpenter made it 1-0. That was in the 3rd. And the Giants came back with 2 runs in the 4th.
Quick pitch.
You think about some hitters, especially young hitters, that get thrust into the cleanup spot, maybe put more pressure on themselves.
Try to do something different.
Hasn't phased Piscotty one bit.
He had the attitude of hitting 4th before he hit 4th.
1-2 pitch. 2-2. Fairly shallow in center and in right field.
I wonder if Cueto hurt something. You know, we talked about that hip in the oblique after that last pitch, walking all the way out to center field, and Dave Righetti and Bruce Bochy keeping a close eye on him. Looked like he was in some pain walking back towards second base.
The 2-2. start last time out was Sunday, and that was cut short in 6 innings with the oblique and the sore lower back. A 3-2 pitch here to Stephen Piscotty. Ground ball slowly hit towards second. And Panic makes the play for out number 2.
Now Posey out to talk to Cueto to check on him.
Well, it's back, Cardinals fans. The refreshing taste of the frozen strawberry lemonade. It's available all summer long, and it's only at McDonald's. So 2 outs, and it brings in Adams, who has singled to left and also walked. Cueto tonight has walked 4. He's hit a man. So his normal control isn't quite there. He's only done that 3 times in his career. 0-2. Quick pitch to Adams, misses in. And the 1-2 pitch in the dirt. Evens it up at 2-2. Just about after every pitch, Johnny Cueto is doing something. Talking to himself, looking at positioning of his arm, the front shoulder. He doesn't stop.
Makes you nervous.
The 2-2 pitch. Put in play by Adams to short. Crawford. And Johnny Cueto is through 5. The Giants have the lead. It's 2-1. Back to work here in inning number 6, 2-1 San Francisco. Happy birthday to my mom.
All right.
Jane McLaughlin. She never misses a telecast. She always tells me to keep you in line. No, she doesn't.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised.
She loves listening to you. So happy birthday, Mom.
That's great.
Here's a 1-0 pitch. Good curveball to Matt Duffy. Been one tough inning for Adam Wainwright tonight. That's been it. That was in the fourth when the Giants picked up their 2 runs, and that's hit out to left. Holiday going over and makes the catch on the run. Baseball is brought to you by Ford, the official cars and trucks of the St. Louis Cardinals. And by Steel Outdoor Power Equipment. Quality, reliability, and value. Find a servicing Steel dealer at steeldealers.com or search STIHL. Buster Posey, breaking ball, lifted out to left center. Randall Grichuk. All kinds of things happening here at Busch Stadium. International soccer returning to St. Louis. Don't miss Liverpool FC as they take on AS Roma at Busch Stadium August 1st. Tickets go on sale June 8th at 10 a.m. It's cardinals.com/soccer for more information. And again, that game is August 1st and tickets on sale June 8th. Great soccer town of St. Louis.
Boy, it is that. Matter of fact, Liverpool on August 1st, and Liverpool extended on August 13th when Paul McCartney is here. One of the original Beatles, of course.
Fly ball, left field. Holiday. And a 6-pitch, 6th inning for Adam Wainwright.
Band on the run. Cardinals need some.
Band on the run. Greater coverage of Major League Baseball presented by T-Mobile. David Wright out 6 to 8 weeks with a neck injury. He's had all the back issues. Francisco Liriano starts tonight against the Angels. And Xander Bogaerts a 26-game hit streak.
After Mookie Betts hit in 29 straight for the Red Sox.
Will David Wright ever win a world championship in New York? Been there a long time now. They've got the pitching. think most would agree it's some of the best pitching in baseball.
Yeah. Giants can match them. I think the Mets may have a better bullpen than the Giants. Giants bullpen has not been good this year, and the Cardinals hoping they can get into that bullpen before this game's over.
I'll tell you what's really been surprising to me, and maybe just because we've seen it every single year, how well the Cardinals play at home, and they have not played that well here at Busch Stadium.
13-15 this year at home.
That is surprising. Bogaerts, by the way, is 0 for 2 tonight in that game in the top of the ninth. Little chopper hit to second, and Grichuk's had a tough night. He's hit into a double play, stranded the bases loaded back in the third, and now grounds out. If you're a baseball fan, then you need the all-new Fox Sports app. Highlights, interviews, injury updates, scores, instant alerts on your favorite teams and rivals. Download now in the App Store, Google Play, or visit foxsports.com/app.
Cardinals playing here at Busch Stadium reminds me of that line by Rita Rudner. You remember Rita Rudner,
sure.
the great comedian? She was hilarious. She said her mother was such a poor cook that she'd go into a restaurant that said home cooking and leave.
Fly ball, deep right field. Back is Parker, leaping, and he's got it. Very casually leaping for that ball that almost got out of here to tie it up.
I mean, that's Molina's base hit stroke to right field, but rarely his long ball stroke. That would have been very close. Was the ball coming down? Probably. I think it would have stayed in the ballpark, but at least a double for Molina. Good play by Parker.
First time he's ever played in this ballpark, and goes back and makes a nice play. Here's Garcia with 2 outs.
1-run game, and you're playing all hitters a little deeper in the late innings. The theory being make them get 3 singles before a double and a single.
Seung-Hwan Oh is throwing in the Cardinals pen as Garcia picks up a base hit into right. Just looked down at Mike Matheny. He slapped his hands together as he looked at Adam Wainwright, said, "Go get him." So if you had somebody in scoring position, I guess you'd bring.
I was thinking the same thing, Dan. And normally with 2 outs and you're the runner on at first base, you don't want to try to steal, because that would mean the pitcher would be leading off the next inning. In this particular case, if you're thrown out at second base, then a pinch hitter would be pinch hitting for Wainwright as the leadoff hitter in the bottom of the 7th and let him go back out there. So that changes everything at first base for Greg Garcia. Not that Garcia is that fast a runner, but I wonder if that's what Bill Miller is perhaps talking about. Short, wild pitch, something like that.
Back to first is Garcia.
The point is you have a tendency to take more chances in this particular situation because of 2-out pitcher hitting. One of the few times you think like that.
Lopez, a lefty throwing, as Wainwright hits it down the left field line, but yanks it foul. Boy, he jumped on that pitch. You have to figure that Javier Lopez, who's a very tough lefty, is getting loose for Matt Carpenter.
No question.
Pitch count at 103 for Cueto. Now Gregor Blanco steps back a few steps in left field.
In a modified no doubles defense. After that ball, Wainwright spanked down the left field line.
Cueto is due up fourth for the Giants, looking ahead to the seventh. And the 1-2 pitch. Garcia is running. Throw down to second, and he is out. Exactly what you talked about. Cardinals baseball is brought to you by National Car Rental. Go National, go like a pro. And try Jack's new Triple Bacon Buttery Jack today. Limited time only at participating restaurants. It'll be Crawford, Blanco, and Parker. If anybody can reach, then Cueto's spot would be due up. Brandon Crawford, big hit in this game, was back in the fourth. A 1-out base hit to right, picked up an RBI on an 0-2 pitch. Picks up a single on the first pitch here in the seventh. On base for the third time.
Talked to Bruce Bochy at length about Brandon Crawford, and they meaning the Giants, didn't know whether Brandon Crawford would hit in the major leagues. I mean, he's really struggled the first 3 months he was in the National League. Boy, he has turned into a both sides of the ball player now.
Great defender. That's what kept him in the league.
Yeah, right. He could always pick it, but now he can hit along with it. Look for a bunt here, I would think.
There's Blanco, who is 0 for 2. Famous picture in the early 1990s when the Giants looked like they were headed to Tampa Bay in the San Francisco Chronicle front page. It's Brandon Crawford as a young kid holding up a sign begging the Giants to stay. And here he is, part of their championship run. Great player. Neat story.
There were two teams seeking to go to Tampa Bay in the early 90s. The White Sox were the other.
Here's a 1-0 pitch. Curveball. Evens it up at 1-1. Think how close Minnesota was to being eliminated, that franchise. Now they have a new ballpark. Great fan base. And Tampa Bay may be the ones that move again. The 1-1. Pulled foul.
It's funny, isn't it? How two major league teams, two great franchises, the White Sox and the Giants, thinking about moving to Tampa Bay, and now it's Tampa Bay who's thinking about moving anywhere.
A lot of talk with Rob Manfred, the new commissioner, about the potential of expansion. Montreal, Mexico. We talked about it the other day. The Expos, or at least that franchise, as Blanco strikes out. First things first, they have to have a new stadium. Period. End of story.
Yep. And their lease is through 2026. Thinking that perhaps, and I would imagine correctly, that if they move a stadium toward Orlando, you've got many more people between Orlando and Tampa Bay. Maybe a regional team, perhaps. But it does pose a problem. Even though the Rays have been a valiant team all these years. Almost a squalor of baseball.
One out, runner at first. Pretty amazing what they've been able to do with such limited funds.
It really is.
Joe Madden, a big part of that. Their front office, which it seems like every year a team around Major League Baseball is taking one executive from Tampa Bay, and then the next year it's a couple, and you know, it's just
decimating their organization in the process.
Here's a 1-0 pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike on Parker. That'll be it for Johnny Cueto. We would presume, as his spot is up next, there's a pinch hitter on deck. Barring the double play, you would think he's done. It'll
be interesting if Parker hits into a double play. Will Bruce Bochy send Cueto back out there?
Yeah. It's Connor Gillespie.
Then if Mike Matheny uses a left-handed batter, say a Colton Wong or somebody like that, then you can go to Javier Lopez. And Lopez would be the guy that has to pitch to Wong, or a pinch hitter for Wong.
2-1 pitch in the dirt. Well, do you think about sending the runner here?
I don't think 3-1's a good count on which to run, because I think that's a hitter's count. He should be patient, young hitter. You don't want him swinging at a ball out of the strike zone. 3-2, now it's a different story. But on this pitch, I'd let him hit.
Started towards second, throw down to first, just back in safely.
And that's the problem with YADIER Molina behind the plate.
Right.
You know, you take that fake break like Crawford did, and now, better get back. Matt Adams had that foot out there, and Crawford had to dive back with that left hand. I'd look for him to run right here.
Yep. Shift on here for Parker. Count of 3-2. Outfield is deep and straight away. Crawford not running, and the pitch is taken for a ball. The first walk. Johnny Cueto out of this game. That'll be the pinch hitter Connor Gillespie. His night came to a close with a caught stealing. His reaction to it. Running faster around the mound than he did on a ground ball that he hit. So 1 out, runners at first and second. This is the lone lefty that they have, and Gillespie pulls it foul. Cardinals have 3 left-handers in their pen, and you would think maybe this would be the time to use one of them, but Mike Matheny sticking with Adam Wainwright. "98 pitches tonight for Wainwright. And the 0-1. Pulled foul. Next time you want to grab seats, get the StubHub app. Not only will you find seats you'll love whenever you want, you can find the best seat for your buck when you sort by the best value. So get the StubHub app today. Here's an 0-2 pitch by Adam Wainwright. Fastball and got him. 6 tonight. Plaza Tires, Fox Tracks. You talked about it earlier, Tim. He had a couple of breaking balls in that at bat, and then all of a sudden the fastball looks like it's coming in about 120.
He's done that 3 times tonight to left-handed batters. It's really a well-pitched game by both pitchers, but I think Wainwright has had a tougher time of it because of all the left-handed hitters in the Giants lineup.
Here's Span, who is 0 for 3. Good pitch. Ties him up. Span was robbed by Piscotty first time up, and twice is grounded out to short. Now time is called by Molina.
I know this sounds kind of silly, but there are sometimes, and this is not one of them with Molina, and I've never talked to Yadi about this, there's sometimes you forget what you put out. honestly, and it's so embarrassing, and you invent something. Timeout. I've got to go out and talk to the pitcher now because I forgot what I just put down.
This sounds like it's being spoken by a man that's done that a time or two.
I have.
Fastball. No, was it a curve? A chain? Wow.
Kind of coming clean with that right now. I don't know that I've ever told anybody.
Well, you think about it, if you're a catcher, that's a good way to get hurt.
It is.
I mean, you think Uncle Charlie's coming and it doesn't break. Uh-oh, it's in your chest. Fastball. Here's a ground ball hit to Adams. Wainwright, nice job tonight. 7 strong innings, time to stretch. And it's 2-1 San Francisco. Madison Bumgarner, most strikeouts so far this season. It's Clayton Kershaw, then Scherzer, Jose Fernandez, Bumgarner 94, Steven Strasburg with 90. A Chevy call to the bullpen. This is Josh Osich. A Chevy call to the pen. 2 lefties, Lopez and Osich, and 6 right-handers in their pen.
Yeah, one of the few teams that carry 8 relievers. A lot of it depends on whether Bruce Bochy has guys that can go the distance. Certainly Madison Bumgarner, one of those. Johnny Cueto has 3 complete games this year.
Samardzija can pitch deep into games as Jerko breaks his bat, and a fly ball out to left on the first pitch.
It's a long way to hit a ball with a broken bat, I'll tell you. Normally a ball like that for a lot of guys drop in that Bermuda Triangle among the shortstop, left fielder, and center fielder. Boy, that was a real saw job right there.
This is our Gateway Honda home run inning. Cardinals hit a home run. The Gateway Honda dealers donate $1,000 to the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Osich very tough on lefties.
Ooh.
They are 4 for 40 against him.
Man.
Xander Bogaerts goes 0 for 3, so his hitting streak ends at 26 games tonight. Fastball and a strike at 97. And think about where this guy has come from. He's had ulnar nerve surgery, Tommy John, torn subscapula. He had an impingement in 2013, another nerve injury, another impingement. I mean, it's been a ton of injuries since 2010.
And throwing it as hard as he's throwing.
Right.
It's amazing. It does point out how difficult it is to maintain velocity when you're a major league pitcher. I mean, you weren't really designed to do what they do.
No.
To throw overhanded when your arms are pointing down to the ground.
Here's an 0-2 pitch. And primarily a fastball pitcher. And why not when you're throwing 97?
Yeah, the only time he'd toy with that change is to a right-handed batter in a game in which he had more than a 1-run lead.
Right-handers hitting 400 against Osich. The 1-2. The Cardinals beat the Giants 4 out of 6 a year ago. They've got 7 matchups with the Giants this year. And you look at the series the Cardinals have had with the Cubs, the Pirates, Dodgers, Nationals, all teams well above 500. 0-6-1 the Cardinals record in those 7 series.
Wow. Eye-opening.
3-2.
Osich not facing just any left-handed batter right here. This Matt Carpenter is toughing out as anybody. There he is with the front shoulder too. That's why we were pointing out Johnny Cueto trying to talk about his left shoulder and point to that. Carpenter with his right shoulder and trying to keep it in there.
3-2 pitch. Carpenter, base hit. So 1-out single for Matt Carpenter. Don't miss the Cardinals Alumni Kids Clinics presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Coming to a ball field near you. One-day clinics for boys and girls ages 7 to 13. You'll learn baseball fundamentals from former Cardinal greats, and you can register your child now at cardinals.com/clinics. It's our Chevy call to the pin. And Aledmys Diaz coming up. Sports and State of Missouri teaming up to help you stop smoking. For more information, call the quit line 1-800-QUIT-NOW.
I have never seen Corey Guerin, even though it's G-E-A-R-R-I-N, it's Guerin. I've never seen him pitch, but warming up, he was throwing quasi sinkers that would have been inside the right-handed batters. So if you're Diaz, I think just Diaz has never seen him, so take one shot. I mean, he's quick enough inside to pop the ball out of the ballpark. 7 home runs on the year.
0 for 3 tonight. Fly to right, fly to center, grounded out to second.
Inside.
Runner at first is Carpenter. A crowd tonight, 43,560. 4-3-5-6-0.
Back in there.
And Diaz pulls it foul.
So 2 inside fastballs. All you have to do is watch Posey. You know, if a catcher moves inside, right-handed pitcher to a right-handed batter, he's not going to throw a breaking ball. If he pushes outside, if he moves outside, then a breaking ball may be coming. But when you're inside, I mean, somebody on the bench could help you out, because Posey's setting up very early. He wants a slider here, so he's outside.
The 0-2. And a strikeout of Diaz. So 2 outs, and it brings in Holiday.
Diaz just can't hold up. He knew he had gone too far. That right hand rolled over.
A walk back in the third for Holiday. Grounded out to third. And also popped out to the second baseman, Joe Panik. First pitch to Holiday.
Inside. Well, I tell you, Posey is messing with danger to a big guy like that. We've talked about it a number of times. If you make a mistake inside to a big guy in the late innings, it's a home run. If you make a mistake away, it's a single. That's why the outfield's in no doubles defense. So you're pitching into the Cardinals' strength by working Holiday inside. That's the point. So he went from that to a slider away.
It's interesting, too, how he throws and where he works from the first base side of the rubber. You know, against a right-hander, you could see if he worked from the third base side how tough he might be with that slider.
Well, some young pitchers are afraid to shake off a more established catcher like Posey. But you got to remember that you know how you got to the major leagues more than Buster Posey does. So you have to be stubborn with catchers.
Oh, and 2.
Right on the corners, huh?
Yep.
Throwing 5 pitches, all for strikes.
That slider to Diaz was pretty nasty, too.
Yes, it was. Wants it inside or high. Oh, that was a throw to first. A little thumb. That used to be the knockdown pitch.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Marco Scutaro would be probably pretty pleased if Holiday got hit or knocked down.
That's a good line. You're right.
Referring to his slide from the postseason. One ball, 2 strikes. I've heard many say, Tim, and you've done a lot of the big games that Bruce Bochy's been a part of because of the postseason, that there is no finer manager at handling a bullpen than Bruce Bochy.
I won't disagree with that. Slider to Holiday. I think Posey wants it for a ball.
Two balls, two strikes. Big crowd just waiting for something to happen here. You made a great point, Tim, and I've been watching it ever since you said that, but Posey is quietly trying to move to the outside portion of the plate as to not give it away to the hitter, but he does it early.
He does.
Very early.
He does. You don't have to be a base runner on at second base to know that a catcher's setting up early. There can be myriad signs from the dugout. You see that. Fastball inside here.
Holiday to Crawford, and the bullpen has done its job so far. We're through 7. Good ball game on this Friday night. It's 2-1. To the pen, takes his 2, Seung-Hwan Oh. 7 innings tonight for Adam Wainwright. The numbers on O. He'll get Panic, Duffy, and Posey.
Might be Waino's best start of the year tonight.
Just thinking that. Looked very good. Cardinals, they need some help in their minor leagues in terms of depth with their pitching. They have signed Jerome Williams to a minor league contract.
I think the reason O's in the game is because of right-handers Mike Duffy and Buster Posey. And then you have time to get a left-hander, perhaps Kevin Segrist, up and throwing. If the two right-handers do damage, because then you've got left-handed all the way to the pitcher.
Have you been impressed with O?
Yes, absolutely.
Fun to watch.
He's tenacious too.
Yeah.
He's got that gritty, competitive. Higher.
On a hop, Diaz stays with it, and no play.
That's a tough play.
Sure is.
Should be a base hit, but often errors are given to a guy who is struggling, but it is a hit. In between hop, blocked it, but couldn't recover.
Jerome Williams, by the way, is a 10-year veteran. Phillies, Giants, Cubs, Washington, Angels, Houston, and Texas. Marco Gonzalez done for the year. Tim Cooney still trying to come back from injury. Hefner has been injured, so signing some guys just to get some innings and some bodies.
Cardinal fans have appreciated that pitch from O. A sailing fastball away to right-handed batters. Some pitchers are locked into a slot, and that is O's slot to right-handers.
0-1 pitch, now make it 0-2. You know, you mentioned how if you're going to go in late innings, you're looking at the potential of a home run. You stay away, probably just a single. And O has been a closer in his career, and primarily, I bet it's 95% of the time, righties or lefties, he's away all the time. A lot of right-handers, and you talked about that pitch, they give up on the slider that starts in the middle of the plate or a little bit on the outer half and then darts out.
Yeah, I think his natural movement, Dan, is a cut fastball. You know, one that sails.
Ground ball and a base hit into right. Panic will stop there.
Now the left-hander in the bullpen becomes very big. I think it's Tyler Lyons and not Kevin Segrist warming for the Cardinals. Neither. The other left-hander, the third left-hander, is Dean Kekeffer.
Two on and nobody out. Posey showing bunt.
What? Where'd that come from? Not the bench.
No. They're saying swing away. Ooh, and that caught Molina. Jim Joyce, home plate umpire, letting Molina catch his breath after that foul tip. Kubota power stats. Posey, the home run leader currently for the Giants with 8. Pence with 7. He's out. Then Belt, Crawford, Panic, all with 6. Power stats brought to you by Kubota. 0-2. And a swing and a miss and a strikeout for Seung-Hwan Oh. That's a big one.
That's a big one, and maybe the last batter that O faces. And that's why you have Kekeffer warming in the bullpen, but we will see a very tough left-hander who's red hot. That's Brandon Belt. Bell with an RBI single. Looks at his strike.
This is where that cutter, if he does go inside, can jam a left-handed batter. It makes me think that maybe Holiday's playing too deep and left.
Well, perhaps. The problem with that is you can't guarantee ground balls inside, and that was the pitch you're talking about. Good call, Dan. But anything he hits to left field, and Belt does have power the other way, but if he hits a ball to left field, it's going to be on that cut fastball inside. It's not going to carry a long way.
One and two the count. Diaz now playing just about behind the bag at second base. The Cardinals shortstop struck him out. Back-to-back Ks of Posey and Belt.
There aren't too many tandems, guys back-to-back in the National League, any tougher than Posey and Belt when he's going well. Those are RBI guys.
And now Crawford. So he's an out away from pitching out of this jam here in the top of the 8th. 362 with runners in scoring position for Brandon Crawford. Hit an 0-2 pitch into right field for the go-ahead RBI back in inning number 4. And a fly ball that's sailing foul and out of play.
One thing Mike Matheny, you know, with his experience as the Cardinal manager and the guy who's making these moves, he knows as a catcher that the Giants have never seen 0. So it more or less evens out as far as lefty righty stuff like that. Kind of toss that by the wayside.
Sure.
And has responded so far.
0-1 pitch. If the Cardinals cannot come back tonight, they would be 11 games back already of Chicago.
Cubbies winning again today, and as usual, the only afternoon game consistently played in baseball is a Friday afternoon at Wrigley Field.
2-1 pitch. 2-2. Cubs are now 38-15. I think from the Cardinals perspective, you look at, all right, let's get to 5 games above 500, then get to 10, 15, so on and so forth. And
you can't do anything about what other teams are doing. Just forget about it.
The 2-2. Crawford strikes out.
Good way to forget about it.
Strikes out the side here in the top of the 8th. Piscotty, Adams, Grichuk all coming up. Baseball returns to FS1. Rays and Twins at 2:30. Then it's baseball night in America. Giants and Cardinals at 6. That's on Fox, or you can watch it live on Fox Sports Go. So, after giving up 2 hits, strikes out the side. And that's now 40 strikeouts from the Cardinal right-hander. As Piscotty pulls it fair, backhanded at third by Duffy. Long throw and makes the play.
That's why you guard the line in the late innings.
Yep.
Instead of backhanding the ball, a strong throw by Duffy. That's why Bruce Bochy has lived and died with Duffy at third base. He entered the game playing every single game this year. 66. This is his 66th game for Bruce Bochy.
So cliche, but so true. Sometimes the best moves or signings are the ones that you don't make.
Well put. That's right.
And I'm thinking about Pablo Sandoval. Boy. Strickland will come on when we come back in our Chevy call to the pen. Javier Lopez has been on 4 World Championship teams. Red Sox and 3 with San Francisco. We thought Strickland may come in the game. They've got him still throwing, so it is Lopez to face Adams. Lefties are 9 for 27 against him. And oddly enough, he has not given up a hit to a right-hander. 4th pitcher used in relief of Johnny Cueto. 0-1 pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike. Rather, the 3rd pitcher used in relief, 4th overall for the Giants.
574 at bats. Plate appearances by left-handed batters, and through his career, 3 have homered.
It's incredible.
Mind-blowing. That is the stumbling block of Matt Adams right now, because Lopez in there to pitch to one guy, and that's Adams. And then Bruce Bochy will bring in the right-hander.
1-2 the count. Adams a base hit to left. He's also walked and grounded out with 2 strikes. The shift on here for Matt Adams. More and more we're seeing teams do that early in the at bat until they get to 2 strikes. They will not shift against Matt because of his propensity now to go the other way or drop down a bunt. 2-2 pitch. Adams hits into the shift. There's Crawford, flips it over to first. And with that, here comes Bruce Bochy, and here comes Strickland. So Lopez came in to get one man, and that was Matt Adams, and he did the job. Somewhere, Tony La Russa is nodding in approval. Cardinals baseball is brought to you by Bud Light Lime and by your local Volkswagen dealer. Who's left on the bench for the Cardinals? All lefties with the exception of Eric Fryer, and the bullpen is rested and ready. Make a case, the key at bat in this game, bases loaded, Randal Grichuk at the plate.
And we as much as said that when Randal was up, chance to turn a season around, and it was fascinating to me the way the Cardinal crowd was just into every pitch, understanding the situation as well as they do.
This guy's a hard thrower. That pitch at 97, 0-2. He's 6'4", 220 pounds. It's interesting to see how San Francisco uses their bench, and as you talked about, Tim, 8 in their bullpen, and you can see why. I mean, Bruce Bochy's mixing and matching.
I think Bochy was the first to realize and to understand just how important an extra guy in the bullpen could be, either a left-hander or a right-hander, designed to get out right-handed or left-handed hitters. A guy like Romo, who's on the DL right now, or a guy like Javier Lopez. That's why he's lasted.
Grichuk strikes out, and that sends us to the 9th. It's 2-1 San Francisco. Yeah, Bruce Bochy just played the bottom of the 8th.
With 3 different pitchers. Facing 3 different hitters. Guerin faced Piscotty, got him out on a hard hit ball to third base. Matt Adams grounding out off Lopez, and Grichuk striking out against Strickland.
And really every game, for the most part, as Rosenthal takes over, he's going to use the 3 players on his bench. Now I know he's got 4 listed, but one of those is your backup catcher. So more times than not, you're not going to use your backup to pinch hit.
That's right. So you're talking about 3 guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's probably no way that the Giants will ever be as successful as the Cardinals in the pinch hitting role. The Cardinals with 10 pinch hit home runs this year. And I haven't looked yet, but I don't think the Giants come close to that.
Cardinals with 32 hits from their pinch hitters this year.
Yeah, the Cardinals make their moves from the guys off the bench for the guys who are playing. The Giants make their moves on the mound.
Yep. Mentioned that has 40 strikeouts, and that's most among all relievers in the National League, as he struck out the side in the top of the 8th. 3 balls and 1 strike on Gregor Blanco. Numbers on our Chevy call to the pen, Trevor Rosenthal. And the Giants missing a key part of their bullpen, who is dealing with a elbow injury, and that's Sergio Romo.
Another thing Bochy does, he's so shrewd. He plays to win or lose in 9 innings. There was no safety. Where is that pitch?
MLB at bat, #1 app for baseball fans. You can find it anywhere. Smartphone, tablet, download it. MLB at bat.
But I think more than any other managers, I think all managers are trained to do that. But Bochy seems to do that more than anybody. He forget about extra innings. He's got guys, I guarantee he uses up guys in 9 innings often. Out of players.
He's talked. Yeah, exactly. He's talked about that.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about the 10th. I'm worried about right now. And if we run out of players, we run out of players. But I'm winning this or losing it in 9 innings.
Yep.
Want to know the count? 1-run games this year. The Giants 12-6. The Cardinals 3-7. And it's a 2-1 Giants lead. And I mean this sincerely. If he wants to, he can use Madison Bumgarner as a pinch hitter, which he's done. Did that in St. Louis last year. Not ideal, but he's not afraid to do it.
Oh, that I wouldn't be afraid to do it either with the thump he has.
Right.
Mad Bum, one of those old country guys from Hickory, North Carolina. He's smart as a whip, though, I'll tell you. Don't let that country accent fool you. Talk about a competitor.
Upstairs.
Take a look at 2 years ago when he started on Sunday, then came back on Tuesday night and pitched 5 innings. And how important Jeremy Affeldt was to this.
Oh, man.
Was to this organization for a long time.
Great lefty out of their pen. 2-2 pitch. Runs it full on Parker with a pinch hitter on deck.
Got the edge. I mean, it makes sense to send the runner here.
Back-to-back walks. Kelby Tomlinson will be the pinch hitter.
One of the few times that there's a meeting on the mound and YADIER Molina's not out there, and the reason is I think Matt Carpenter is telling Rosenthal what to do and what play they have on. Whether it's the rotation play, it looks like the rotation play. Look where Diaz is. He's more than halfway to third base.
See Adams coming in. So ideally, Tim, if you're the hitter, you want to bunt it towards third.
Well, not in this alignment.
Yeah, you can see Carpenter now really coming down the line.
I think if you bunt it to third base, you're playing right in the hands of Cardinals. Diaz cheating as much as he's cheating over as much as Carpenter's cheating in.
So back-to-back walks. First pitch by Trevor Rosenthal. I wonder if you're Bruce Bochy too, if you're going to bunt in this situation, and we've talked about the fact that their bench is, you know, really light with only 3 position players primarily and a backup catcher. If you're going to bunt here, why not send up a pitcher?
Well, then, no, I wouldn't do that.
Then you waste Tomlinson here.
Yeah, I'd rather waste him with runners in scoring position. I mean, he just swung through the pitch.
Only if, though, you were going up there to bunt is what I'm saying.
Yeah, but if you send up a pitcher, they know you're going to bunt. This way, you don't know what's going to happen. You got an offensive player at the plate.
The 0-1 pitch. It was a couple of years ago that Rosenthal had issues with the strike zone and a lot of walks. He eliminated the windup from his repertoire, solely working from the stretch.
I think Carpenter's thinking that because Rosenthal throws so hard that there's no chance of Tomlinson pulling the ball down third anyway. I mean, that makes sense too. That's why he's so shallow.
And the 1-1 pitch from Trevor Rosenthal.
None of that infield defense even counts if you can't throw strikes. You got to throw strikes. Trevor knows that too. You could see Tomlinson peeking down at Carpenter before that bunt attempt. It's an interesting at bat, isn't it?
Yep. Swung through the first pitch. Now the bunt. And with 2 strikes, you'd have to assume that he's swinging.
Yeah.
And with that, the corners back up a few steps. Runners at first and second, nobody out. The 2-2 pitch from Trevor Rosenthal. To the backstop. Right through the glove of YADIER Molina.
Looks like it went through the webbing.
Sure did.
Sometimes that webbing, no, it's just a pass ball. Now the infield in with nobody out.
Wow. Bases loaded. And he walks the bases loaded, so Kiefer is coming on. Chance for the Giants to bust this game wide open. Dean Kiekefer comes in with the bases loaded and nobody out. Got beat up in one appearance, and that's why that ERA is up to 7. But for the most part, has done a pretty nice job in his first appearance here in the big leagues.
Yeah, that was that game last Sunday in Washington.
Right.
Game we did. Close game until the bottom of the 7th. A grand slam home run by Jason Worth.
Little surprised we don't see Segrist in this spot.
I am too.
Oh, and Span almost hit by that pitch.
I mean, Segrist is a guy, he's your best option to keep this game a one-run ball game. Even better than Rosenthal, because Rosenthal comes in, it's not a safe situation. I know he hadn't pitched in a while, but Kevin Segrist.
And a base hit through the right side. 2 runs will come around to score. And that makes it 4-1 San Francisco. Infield in and just snuck it through that right side.
Reason you play the infield in, of course you want a ground ball right to them, and you got 2 diving Cardinals, and it was after Rosenthal walked the bases loaded.
So runners at the corners, infield is drawn in again. That's pulled foul. I think the other thing you look at too, Tim, is that your best chance of getting a strikeout is Kevin Segrist.
Yep. Well, he's the best guy to start the inning, or to bring in during the inning.
Popped up. Backing up, Carpenter calling for it, makes the catch. So Panic is the first out. Jonathan Broxton, 23rd appearance, runners at first and third, and the batter will be Matt Duffy. Duffy squares to bunt. Broxton thought about going to the plate. Run does score, and that makes it 5-1 as Tomlinson scores the 5th run of the night.
Cardinals were well schooled in this play by Joe Madden last year in the 2nd game of the playoffs, when Jaime Garcia was pitching and apparently didn't know what to do when the ball was bunted back to him. And that one play could have been the turning point in the Cardinals postseason. 1st and 3rd and 1 out, a safety squeeze.
You had to remind me.
Well, there's a key play in that series, and the Cubs go on. Of course, they didn't advance. The Mets took care of the Cubs, and it was the Mets playing Kansas City in the postseason. But who knows what might have happened in that best 3 out of 5 series had Garcia made the right play.
No doubt.
Ends up throwing the ball wild to first base. Well, this is a tacky inning right here. Wow. Bad inning for the Cardinals.
The best record against the Cardinals, the Giants, 35-29. Everybody else, this includes postseason play, below 500 against St. Louis. New pitcher and a right-hander. And our Chevy Cole to the pen. George Cantos. 16th appearance, and the lead is now at 4 runs. Happy birthday to that young man. Cardinals with just 5 hits today, and a strike to Yadier Molina. I think the positive that you take from this game, if you're a Cardinal fan, is the way that Adam Wainwright pitched. Looked very good. We both felt it was his best start this year.
That's about the only thing positive that you can take from this game.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the St. Louis Cardinals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. Molina 0 for 3. And now brings in Garcia. Been on base twice. Was hit by a pitch in the 4th. Singled and was caught stealing in the 6th. One out, nobody on. Our next telecast on Fox Sports Midwest will be Tuesday from Cincinnati. Just a brief 3-game homestand. The Reds have 19 wins this year. 19-35. Good breaking ball. Mentioned it earlier, the Giants had 21 wins alone in the month of May. And Cincinnati on the year, a total of 19 wins. Here's a 1-2 pitch. And a strikeout of Greg Garcia. Our Budweiser player of the game, the starter for the Giants tonight, Johnny Cueto, 6 innings, 4 hits, no runs, 5 walks, and 1 strikeout. It should be no earned runs. Our Budweiser player of the game. Brandon Moss with a home run against the Milwaukee Brewers 2 days ago, gave the Cardinals 10 home runs this season off their bench. Moss has accounted for 3. Hazelbaker with 3. Single season record for the Cardinals, George Crowe, 1959, 1960, had both those seasons with 4. So we've got the weekend off, but you can bet you'll find Tim McCarver here at the ballpark and get in a seat. He will not miss a pitch of this series. Had to clear my throat. And the Cardinals down to their final strike, and Tim is stuck in silence.
Rarity.
And the 1-2 to Moss. The 2-2 pitch to Moss. 3-2 the count. Moss would love to have his 4th home run in the pinch right here. You would have to assume he's going to get a pitch to drive. (3-2) on its way. And Moss hits a fly ball out to shallow left. And the game is over. San Francisco wins it by the final of 5-1.
Well, a good ball game up until the 9th inning. Then the 3 walks by Rosenthal, and all 3 walks scored. And the Giants continue their winning ways.
Johnny Cueto picks up another win. The Giants 11-1 in his starts this year.